Well, greetings, Emily in Phoenix. Congrats on a great Linkin Park record with From Zero.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Tommy. Appreciate
And it's
that.
very nice to meet you both as well.
Good to meet you too.
You too,
You
man.
know, I've always felt Linkin Park has been a pioneer musically, but not just musically, but in the digital world from your website, social, special events for fans only. And I thought it was absolutely brilliant, the live stream, how you introduced the new single, Emily and Colin. That had to be quite the undertaking to put all that together.
It was, yeah, quite the undertaking is a great way to put it. We put a lot of thought, energy, stomach aches, stress, anxiety, any and all of the above into that. And the process, I mean, in to trim it down to the bare essentials, I kind of we thought we didn't want to have to describe what we were doing or what it was going to be. We just wanted to be able to show people. But then it became this weird project of how do you play old stuff, play new stuff, don't tell anybody what it's going to be, but still have a crowd. But like, there's all these factors that don't fit together to do a launch. How do we not do any press beforehand? How do we not, and how do we still get Linkin Park fans there? How do we trick them to show up for something without telling them even what it is or hinting at what it is? It was a lot. And I think after after we did the launch show and then started playing some real shows, for me, it was this really nice kind of like release or relief of the previous year that we've been doing planning and working on that to come together. So very, very cool.
Well, it shows the thought process because I thought even choosing the Emptiness Machine as the song, how it comes out with Mike and he does that whole first section and then it introduces Emily, that had to have been pre-planned. It was so well executed. I loved it.
When it came time to do the set for what that first show was going to be, I don't even think it was one of us. I can't remember for sure, but I'd want to say that it was um, just a comment or suggestion by Jim Digby, our production manager, and he had just assumed, oh, you're starting with this, like this song, it's going to be the first new single. Like I thought that that's just what you'd be doing, and then we were kind of, I think if I remember it correctly, we were like, oh yeah, that might work really well. Like Mike sings the first verse and chorus, then Emily comes in. Like we could kind of roll it out that way, and it might just really fit. It's also the lead track off the new album, et cetera, et cetera. So it was just kind of this. Sometimes you accidentally stumble upon things that end up seeming like, wow, that's such a cool plan. So maybe we just edit back all that and we just pretend like we really masterminded and thought that out really well.
Well, it
Yeah.
was awesome. Now, Emily, I know you have tons of experience prior to Linkin Park, and it's not your first rodeo. And I'm sure the band was well rehearsed because you guys, they always do it right. But what was going through your mind those moments before that first click went off and you started jumping on that stage? What was in your mind?
Don't out, don't out, don't I think it's just yeah, I mean, I say it jokingly, but honestly, just like, okay, this is you've got one thing to do. Just don't think about everything else, like as much as you possibly can. Just we've already rehearsed, we've rehearsed this so many times. You know what to do. Just stay on track. And that was it. You had to, because everything leading up to that moment of playing that show, that reveal show, there was so much anxiety. There was so much like Dave was saying, so many different things that we went through, feelings and emotions and everything. So having it finally get to that point was like almost a relief, you know? But then on that for that moment since, there's another set of emotions that come. So anyway, so needless to say, I just had to just do my job, just practice, try to just be on autopilot as much as possible.
It was fantastic, though. I loved it. It was funny. I'm not even in the band, and my palms were sweating,
Yeah,
waiting for it to start. Like, oh my God, what's going to happen? What's it going to be? And you
yeah.
guys killed it. And you did such an amazing job honoring the catalog as well. I'm just so impressed.
Thank you.
And what I love about From Zero, it's Linkin Park.
Yeah.
That's what I love about that album. I just felt like everybody picked up and are going in that direction with the next album and the next tour. And it's just amazing what you guys have accomplished. And Phoenix, when did you, Mike, Brad, Joe, and Colin figure out that you're going to make a new record and Emily's going to sing on it?
Yeah, so I think for us, Mike, Joe, and I initially kind of getting together and at that point talking about what we might even want to be doing. And in the process, we were working with other writers, working with other singers, working with other instrumentalists. And as we kind of walked through a period of years, at the end of that road, it was Emily and Colin that just fit. And I think also to what you were saying too about how From Zero came out, like we just felt like this is Linkin Park. Like whatever that means, this has the feel of it for us. Like the stuff we were doing together, and even just us spending time together, is the environment, is the vibe that we've always loved about our band. And so it was kind of like there wasn't a real moment when there was a decision made. There was a moment when we kind of said, "Hey, Emily and Colin, we've got all this stuff we're thinking about doing. And PS, like, we kind of need you on board if we're going to do it. So what do you think?" There was like that moment, but
Yeah.
leading up to that moment, it was a series of, tons and tons and tons of hours and hours and hours working, writing, recording, hanging out, whatever, before it kind of was gelled together.
Yeah.
How was it trying to keep this all a secret for both of you? Because I'm sure there's two perspectives here. Emily, you are playing with these guys. You can't really tell anybody, and they can't really tell anybody. How did you guys keep this all a secret so well?
I mean, it's a good question. I mean, I kind of had to go into hiding a little bit, I had some friends reach out and be like, "Hey, are you okay? We haven't seen you in a bit." Because I was afraid I would, have a drink and say something because I was very, very excited. I just knew I had to stay focused, Um, uh, and thinking about it now too, I'm like, I'm very happy that it was, we had that time for ourselves, and to really figure it out and gel together and write the album with no pressure, right? So the pressure was only what we brought upon ourselves, like we didn't have expectations of, you know, it was like maybe this album will take, maybe it won't, but we know right now what we feel is the right thing. So I just love like looking back, I'm like, there's no way I would have been able to do it if we announced it and then we went to go work on it. So thinking of that, it was easy, you know? So
Mhm.
I think I knew subconsciously that that was just an, if that gives you any kind of clarity on where
It,
my mind was at.
after the fact too, after the fact, I think it was really cool to realize, they're towards the end of the secret before everything was revealed. There were a lot of people that knew what was going on. Everybody that we work with at our management, everybody that we work with at the record label, everybody that we work with in representation for, touring, and that was like looking to set up dates and shows, and our agent. And I just felt like all those people cared enough, to kind of keep it close. And I don't know how that was able to happen or what, but I think at the end of it, we kind of realized like, oh man, that's something to really appreciate. There's a huge chunk of people that knew this, but it didn't really spill over anywhere, outside of that. Like they kept it pretty tight. And so we had a lot of help in keeping the secret.
Yeah.
Me personally, I'm terrible with secrets. So I would just intentionally try to spread rumors. I would tell disinformation everywhere with the idea of like, if any of this gets out, then then maybe that will just build the story or momentum. But if you were to talk to me, Tommy, in those moments leading up to it, I would have given you all kinds of weird information about what's happening.
Well, it was masterfully done. And that whole countdown and then the count up thing, you really set everybody up and had some fun at the same time. But it was exciting. And it was exciting because while I'm watching the show, people are texting me from all over the country and we're going back and forth. And it was just, and my friend in California, I think he watched that show about 8 times in a row. He was up just watching it over and over again. You really made a super fans day for sure.
That was
Wow.
awesome.
Now, Heavy is the Crown, another great single from the record. And what I loved about that when I first heard it, I knew it was Linkin Park. And I think that's what you achieved. You really achieved that. And that has to be a good feeling for the both of you, knowing that you've just made another great Linkin Park record.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think in the process of the writing and everything of this album, the goal was to revisit kind of our early headspace, write songs with the intention of what does this do in a live setting, bring that energy and excitement to it. And it really put us back to the early days of kind of how we approached our process. And doing that with, Emily and Colin just opened up a lot of new creative space and brought a lot of air into the room to just try new things and see what worked. But we were very excited at the mid stages of that process where we're like, this does feel like our band. This feels like a Linkin Park record. This feels like it's different, but it still has for us that core DNA of what we love and what we love to do and what we've always wanted to do with the band. So I think for us that was a really exciting period of the process.
Now, I've listened to From Zero several times over and over again, and I love Over Each Other. What a great song. And Two-Faced, Stained, and Good Things Go. I was surprised you guys didn't maybe use those as singles before quickly going to Up From the Bottom. And I got the email from the label, oh, there's a new Linkin Park song coming. I was guessing which one off the album. I didn't realize it was for a deluxe version. So how was that process to kind of go from the album and kind of skip to the deluxe version so quickly?
Things move fast.
Yeah. We had 4 singles off that album.
I think 4 videos.
Yeah, there's 4 videos.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we just wanted to like keep moving forward, and in this day and age, things move fast. And back in the day, you'd do a year and a half on an album or even longer, and now it's just we're speaking for myself. I feel like I'm getting older and I want to continue to release new music. And so it doesn't make sense to wait a long time. And if I've got this stuff, I just want to get it into the fans' hands and let them do with it what they may. The singles side of it and picking that is something that I've always been terrible at anyway. So it's not, I feel like our job is just to keep creating when we have that spark to create, and then let that fall as it may. Kind of let the fans decide what they want to do with it, what they love. And that's kind of how the process went down with the deluxe.
Thank you guys for the time. Really appreciate it. I look forward to you guys coming to town on May 1st at Van Andel Arena, and wish you much success with the deluxe version coming out May 16th. And you guys have a great day, man.
Thank you, Tommy. We're excited to be in Grand Rapids. I think it's been a minute, so looking forward to it. And thank you for all you do. Appreciate it.